One Foggy Night, a short story by Andrew Rossiter. When an anxious mother calls the police to report that her teenage son has not come home, the policemen find themselves looking at more than just a couple of missing teenagers. Part 1. "He should have been back by 11:30, said the voice on the phone. "I'm so worried. It's the first time he's been out with the car at night." "And how old did you say your son is?" asked Sergeant Parker. 17, officer. He only passed his test a week ago, and Melanie's only 15. "Well, Mrs. Hoskins, I can only say that I haven't had any reports of incidents involving a blue escort, but I'll put out a message. Just make sure you call us back immediately if he comes home. We can't afford to waste police time, can we?" "No, officer, of course not. But you will let us know at once if you find them, won't you?" "Yes, ma'am, we will." Parker looked at the clock on the wall. It was just after 2. "Constable Shepton." "Sir?" "Put out a message to all cars. Look out for a dark blue escort. Registration number J47HGK. Driver's a young lad of 17 called Paul Hoskins. Just passed his test. His mom expected him home before midnight. Hasn't shown up. Any idea where he is?" "Went out for the evening with his girlfriend. She's not home either." "What's the problem then, Sarge?" asked Shepton. "Probably out clubbing. If you had to look for every youngster who stayed out late." "Yes, I know. But his mom says he'd promised to be back home by midnight." "Yes, but seems like he's a sensible lad who does what he's told, and the lass is only 15. "Blue escort," said Constable Wells. "It'd be a bit easier if it were a yellow Ferrari. How are we meant to recognize anything in this?" A heavy sea fog was rolling in off the channel, bringing visibility down to less than 30 yards. Constable Bradstock got back into the car. "Well, there isn't anything going on round here. Place is deserted." At that moment, 2 lights surged out of the mist and drove past at high speed. "Bloody idiot," said Wills. "Shall we go after him?" "What? In this fog? What's the point? Let's just get on with the round." Bradstock started the engine, and the patrol car moved slowly forward into the blanket of dark, white mist. "Brad, that was an escort, wasn't it?" asked Wells all of a sudden. "Where?" "The car that just went by." "Might have been. I hardly saw it." "What color was it?" "Don't ask me. I can't tell colors under orange street lamps at the best of times. Can you? Let alone in this fog." "Let's follow it." "It could be anywhere by now, couldn't it?" But Wells was already talking into the radio. "Car PB to base. Suspicious vehicle speeding west along Esplanade, near East Pavilion. Could be the missing escort. We're following it, but slowly due to fog. Over." The mist was patchy. Then suddenly, as they drove in front of the Imperial Hotel, it lifted, and a long line of lights stretched out ahead of them, picking out the gentle curve of the Esplanade round as far as the harbor. There was no traffic, just cars standing empty at the roadside. Apart from the street lamps, the only other lights to be seen were in the distance at the harbor side, where a group of cars seemed to be parked at the water's edge. Bradstock switched on the blue flashing light and Wells accelerated. As they approached the group of cars, two of them drove off up a street towards the town center. The third stayed where it was. "It's an escort," said Bradstock. "Dark blue. Perhaps it's the one we're meant to be looking out for." "Pull up behind it," said Wells. Although its headlights were on, the stationary vehicle looked empty. Brad jumped out. A moment later, he was back. "You'd better call up the station. Engine's running, but no one in it. Just this on the back seat." He held up a wad of 50-pound notes. "Whoever was in it left a couple of grand behind. Must have seen us coming and punked off in a hurry. Doesn't sound like a 17-year-old kid, does it?" said Wells. "You never know these days, do you?" Brad replied.